STS XPD-924D. This is the most advanced DTF printer in the world right now. Basically, it's made by our manufacturing partner, Muto, in Japan. So this is a Japanese OEM branded printer, but branded under the STS name. It has two Muto AccuFine heads. So the two Muto AccuFine heads have 3,200 nozzles each. And we run them 3-pass 600 by 900 resolution. So when we're doing 3-pass 900 by 600 resolution, we have something called the eye screen effect, and the eye screen effect is basically like a digital feathering of the print, so that it randomizes the small, medium, and large size variable dots of the head to smooth out all the areas where if you were to try to run this printer without the technology, it would be grainy. If you try to run any other printer in the world, it'll be grainy. But we're the only ones in the world that have this technology, and we're able to run the maximum speed of these two heads so fast that it's faster than most other 2 heads, 4 heads, 6 head Japanese and Chinese machines. And the fact that we're able to run it at 3 passes, you're laying down significantly less ink than another printer that's doing 6 passes, and you would have to do 6 passes to equal the quality that you get from our 3 passes. And then also you see on the back here, it comes with CMYK and 2 whites, so it always has a liter of white in the printer and 500 milliliters of CMYK. And the cartridges are angled. There's a 3% degree angle to make sure that all of the ink basically rushes into the printer, so you don't end up where you're at the end of a job and the ink cartridge triggers the printer to turn off and you still have ink in the cartridge. So this ensures that all the ink is used out of the cartridge. These are degas cartridges. The only way you could run a printer this fast is with degassed inks. Also another thing, this is where you basically load the film. It's a very simple unit in terms of you take this off, you put it on, and you feed it right in. There are no special dancing bars or anything. It's a direct feed into the printer. The printer has its own basically brain. So compared to many other printers out there that are just basically a box with a print head in it that goes back and forth, this actually has a brain in the printer which keeps track end-of-life of parts. It keeps track of the health of the printer. It keeps track of any sort of errors you may have had. So at any one time, we'll know exactly what's going on with your printer and how to help you if you need help. So if you go around here to the front, open this up, you can see these are our pinch roller systems. You can tell that the pinch rollers run all the way across the film. This is a far superior pinch roller system than anything else that's out there, more specifically better than the Chinese. This kind of pinch roller system makes sure that the paper feed is always feeding properly. Very, very easy to take care of this printer. It's probably the easiest printer in the industry to maintain. It takes 30 seconds to do. All you have to do is you click CR maintenance, click enter, and what it does is it pulls the head to the other side of the machine, and then from here you can simply just clean around the bottom, and then you can also clean over here, which is the wipers, and around the capping stations. And then when you're done, you just click that and it'll bring it back. But the great thing about the fact that this is all electronic, it basically keeps track of all the times that you actually perform the maintenance. So part of the logs that we can see on the printer is how many times a week or a month you're actually doing your maintenance. So you could definitely spy on your employees and make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Right. This is the S20 shaker. So this is actually a pretty cool feature of the S20 shaker. We designed this thing around safety, and we want to make sure that when it comes to your employee safety, that's our top priority. So this is automatic. It goes up and down automatically to make sure that you don't risk it falling on fingers or arms or whatever, people getting hurt. And you can tell that there's both heat from the top and the bottom, which is important. Otherwise, if there wasn't enough heat, then this printer is too fast for most shakers. So it takes a special shaker to be able to cure this fast enough. And then the other cool thing is that all the filters, charcoal, HEPA filter, are built inside, but we have something that's very unique. And what that is a static electricity box. So this box right here puts out high voltage static electricity that will basically work kind of like a dehumidifier works with moisture in the air. But instead of moisture, it's the glycol in the air that is the thing that you need to deal with. So this will actually help remove the glycol from the air. The glycol will settle in the box before the gases hit the filters. So that means that the filters last significantly longer and it does a better job at filtering out all the gases that are in the machine. And then for this part of the machine, as you can tell, everything is basically designed so it's modular. So all the parts are easily accessible, and you could, if you need to replace a board, the board's right here. If you have to replace a motor, the motors are over there. Everything is easily accessible, so it could be replaced if it needs to be replaced. And it doesn't take a tech to come out and replace a simple part. It's just a few screws and snapping in of a few wires. The glycol collects over here in this little bin, and then there's also a sensor to tell when the glycol is too high and when you need to empty out the glycol bin. And also over here, this is the wire actually that is for a hardwired cutoff. So we have two methods of turning off the heat. We have the software which regulates the heat, but if God forbid the software freezes, we have this board right here which is basically a redundancy which will shut off the heat if it gets too high in case of emergency. And this printer was the first printer to get a UL rating in the field. And of course the printer is UL rated, but the shaker is the first to get UL rated in the field. And one more thing over here is that we did this so when you open up the powder bin, it'll turn everything off so you don't risk getting your fingers caught or stuck in any of the moving parts. You just press the button to start releasing some powder onto the film. And if you want to go take a look over there and see the powder is So what that does is it will weigh down the film, and as the film comes through, the powder will basically roll over on itself on the film and at the same time coat all of the areas on the film that has the wet ink. The powder will stick to the wet ink, everything else will be shaken off, and the shaker will know when to put down more powder because there's a scale under there. So where that film is right now, there's a scale basically to tell the weight of the powder, and if the weight gets too low, it will start dispensing more powder from here. And then over here, where his hand is, there's a vacuum bar. The vacuum bar is holding onto the film right now so that it doesn't move. In some other cases, people put magnets to hold it, or they have to stand there, or they have to snake through 4 or 5 feet. Because you have that little bar, the vacuum bar below the belt, you don't need to waste that much film, and it basically will hold on to it.
It'll tell you when you have to replace it. It gives you a lot of data on the health of your printer as your printer is being used. So you can tell if you've had head strike, you can tell how much ink has been jetted through the printer, you can tell if there's been any errors, and that's all stuff that we could download and be able to assess from a long distance. You can see how fast it is. So this is going 3 passes, 600 by 900 resolution.
Wow, even more vivid and bright than it looked